A listener, my next guest embodies the DIY culture probably like no other. He not only thrives in this environment, but the environment that he thrives in and his creativeness within this environment and this body of work that comes from the creativeness, from the environment of the DIY culture that he does like no other, helps to launch some of the biggest names in Hollywood that everybody knows. From humble beginnings as a young PA to writing and directing one of the biggest cult classics in the history of all time, this guest does it all. You know, I'm one of those people, I genuinely love movies, every genre. If it just came out last week or it's been around for 50 plus years. You know, I find myself stealing one-liners from dialogue. I overthink what my favorite characters would do in real life situations that I'm in. You know, I feel like I'm engulfed in the entire cinematic universe, so to speak, you know? And our next guest not only wrote and directed one of my personal favorite movies of all time, but he's probably also written and directed one of yours as well. So, hey, Punk, why don't you pearl one up and grab a seat? Because we're sitting down with James Merendino. Let's go.
You know it's about that time to grab a bag of the stickiest itchy bond you can find and pearl one up.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
I'm okay.
You're a busy guy, man.
Where are you located?
Delaware, Newark, Delaware.
Okay. So Delaware, that's that place where like I know so very few people from. Like, is it Dover? Is that the capital of?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Right in the heart of it.
I feel like people don't talk about Dover enough. I mean, Delaware enough. In fact, I wrote a script. My first script I wrote, it didn't get made. It's called Cat in a Box. The lead characters from Delaware, specifically because like it's a place that not many people I know come from there.
Right.
But it's a nice city. There's a nice cities down there, right? Like
there are some. There's a lot of very rich people. There's a lot of very poor people around here. Every big business, just about every big business around kind of goes through Delaware. And then, you know, that business is based out of there. Like we have like Tesla and Amazon and everybody else. They have like a PO number and they're all registered through Delaware for some kind of.
That's right. It's a business hub, isn't it?
It's a big, huge.
It's a big business hub. Like every big business has a PO. Is it because like some tax structure or something like that? Or
yep.
Yeah,
it is no help to the little guy at all. It's not
a union friendly state. Okay, yeah.
No, not at all. Especially I work for almost 11 years, and we are. I mean, you know, for a private employer, they're garbage. They're horrible.
Yeah, they won't let you guys unionize.
Never.
Yeah,
it's ironic that they will let. Not really but they'll go to the vote, and some places will get unionized. A couple years ago, they unionized, and then within 4 months, it was out of that town. They shut down, and people were like, "Well, what do we do?" And they were like, "Talk to your union rep; they'll get you another job." It was like, "Wow, man!"
Oh no,
that's
terrible.
Yeah,
people are very well. I mean, like I don't want to get into politics too much, but like there's like I noticed that there are these anti-woke type YouTubers that are very much against shows because they're like too like I don't know, inclusive and liberal, commie, lefty kind of stuff because they include, I don't know, a black person in a role that they don't feel should be there. Whatever the crazy, I don't know what it is. I don't really care about this stuff. But like that's a hardcore they're hardcore, man. Like they're like they're not commie. You know, right? I mean like they're full of that you couldn't get more capitalist than that company.
I was going to say that's the most capitalism at its core, man.
I mean, they won't even let unions around, so like you don't know what they're talking about, except for I guess WGA and stuff. But you know, like for their shows. But
I could literally go on there right now and apply for a job but I would have to get accepted, have to move to California. And not only would I have to move to California, if I'm accepted, I have to work as an intern for 120 days first. And it's like,
what part of that, what would you do in that division?
It was for helping get licensing for movies and music, or with music for movies and film.
Also, clearances. You're going to get music rights that they're going to use in their shows.
Yeah. There was a couple of them. Yeah, that was one of the ones I was definitely looking at until I seen they had to be an intern for 120 days because California is expensive. That's got to be ridiculous.
So wait, unpaid intern for you have to have the savings behind that.
Oh yeah.
But that's interesting because because clearing music, licensing music, it's a complicated job a little bit.
I believe it.
And the only people that can really afford to do that are students, right?
Right.
I'm curious, why would I guess it'd be an interesting, but then do you have to be to even get that job in the first place?
You have to. So what I seen was an internal rec. I'm sure there's internal, external for sure. But what I seen was an internal hire, but you have to basically step down and start at the bottom from a whole different organization.
That's interesting. So yeah, because that's a specialized job. It's an interesting. It's called music supervising. It's a whole, and you have to work your way up to that position. You had PA for a few years, work in the industry for a while, and then you end up in that department. It's not like
there was some as well for a PA. I did see that it was basically handling day-to-day duties, helping out all kinds of people across the board. It was must be flexible and work with several different teams.
I know that. I've done that job before. It's like a Friday, a guy Friday, whatever, that you do everything. And when I first moved to Hollywood, I did a couple of PA jobs, and then I got a job working for a guy named Dan Melnick. He was a producer, and he had been heads of studios and stuff. He's like an old timey producer. He wore he would wear a pith helmet, those, and had a riding crop. He was ridiculous. He was one of those guys. Yeah. And he was doing LA Story when I got the job with him, and I was just temping for him. But then I connected over jazz. I talked to him about jazz instead of movies because I figured he's tired of talking about movies. So I just said hey, I like Miles Davis too. And so he fired the guy that was doing the job. And basically I was his it was a whipping boy for 2 years. It was a tough job, and really, really weird.
I believe it. Because you're kind of at the beck and call, right? It seems to be you're kind of at the beck and call, trying to, not really prove your worth, but not in so many words of prove your worth. I deserve to be here.
He was weird. He would say, okay, James, here, and give me this box. I need to get another box of these. And it was a box of rubber gloves. And it would be once a week. I'd have to go pick him up a box of rubber gloves. And I would go to the same pharmacy, and they would say, what are you doing with these rubber gloves? I'm it's not me. I don't know what. And I know he was using them for some kind of weird, sexual stuff. I just my young eyes, I thought when I got there, was already fairly understanding of how corrupt and gross and weird the world was. And I was not prepared.
Oh, shit.
I was way out of my depth when I worked for that guy. I'm just he was a brutal person, just really, really tough guy. And then again, working his deals and stuff too. He would he was scary. He was a scary guy too. And also taught me a lot. So,
was he one of those guys at the end of the day though that his kind of his cosign on you would help you advance somewhere, or was he just one of those guys that was in his niche, man?
He was an important guy at the time. He was one of the top 50 most powerful producers or people in Hollywood.
That's great.
He kept making that list. he just toughened me up, like, I mean, like he just made it like, because I came in there pretty thin skinned and, like you can't be thin skinned around that guy.
Right.
I mean, like one time there was an earthquake and he was in his office, which was basically behind this huge black metal electronic door. So like we called it the vault, and he was in there and there was an earthquake and he came out of the vault 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. And he said, "Are you guys having an earthquake?" Like as if he was somehow disconnected from it, And I think his doctor once told me, because I drive him to his doctor appointments and stuff. His doctor said to me, he needs to like slow down because like he have a heart attack, because like maybe he drinks a little too much or whatever, smokes too much. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that guy has no heart. You can't have a heart attack, But I mean, I say all that, and I have a lot of stories about that guy. But like in the end, though, I do look back and understand that he taught me. One, don't ever be like that because you make people's lives miserable. Anyone that works for you, don't be like that. I should not be the way he is to me, to other people, because like that's their life, and like you're destroying it.
Agreed.
Because I was misery getting up every day. But he also taught me how to be sort of tough with negotiating and stuff like that. So I was able to, So like, because he taught me, he would tell me how to do shit, like this is what you do to get a movie made. So if I was going to film school, they taught you like film criticism or, film analysis, or they would show you how to use some equipment and they would sort of say like, write this, but they never taught you how to get a movie made. Like that just not my school. I mean, maybe somewhere else they do that, but like they certainly didn't do it. Like physically, how do you get it made? He would be like, oh yeah, you got to do this. Like these, and you need to talk to these people like this. Oh, and never do that, and send this basket of oranges to that person, and like just all like down to details.
Hell yeah.
So. Yeah, he just knew how to do that. Like, and that's like, and pretty much it's the only thing you need to know. Like, I don't even know if you need like that's a talent, and it's like everything else is like, I don't know. Anyway, that's
knowing the ins and outs of the system. I totally understandable.
He's like, listen, never trust anyone. They're all lying to you. They will turn on you in a second. Make sure you're the only person that's ever going to be as passionate about the project that you're making. No one else is going to be more passionate about it. So if you don't get it done, no one else will get it done for you. You have to literally will your things into existence. You have to drag everybody with you, or else it's not going to happen. Like those are the things he taught me, like very specifically, because it's true. Like there is that element of, oh, maybe someone will just make my movie and that's not how it works. Like you're the only one who's ever going to think the movie you're making has any value until it's done. And people, I mean, not until it's done, until like it's gone out in the world and it actually does something.
And then you start to get the reception back, and then you go, okay,
if they make money, then they think, oh yeah, and then everybody takes credit for it.
Right? Oh yeah. Yeah, then it's a group effort at that point, right?
There's like movies that don't make money are lonely children, but ones that do are loved by everybody and owned by everybody. They have lots of parents. So yeah.
What about that saying that you can make more on a movie that flops than you can on a movie that was profitable? Is that how does that go hand in hand?
Well, what is that now?
So I started reading. It was like a movie, a lot of movie, I guess. You have like Blumhouse films or something.
From the movie the producers. I can make more money from a flop than I can with a hit.
Oh, was it Max? What was his name? Max.
Bialystock and Bloom.
Yeah,
It was
Max
the original one with
yeah.
Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder, and he says you can make more money with a flop than a hit. That's because they were embezzling the money from the investors, and if it was a flop, they could write it off.
Yeah, and I started seeing like that business model around today where like, let's say, somebody gets points on the back end of something, and then the studio can say, oh, well, we put X amount into marketing and we put X amount into the movie, and now we only recouped 80% of that. So Mark Wahlberg's not getting his 7% on the back end for flight risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I have noticed. Oh, I've noticed. We filmmakers a lot of times don't get a dime on the back end. Even though we have these great back end deals that we work out,
Right.
that's why I always tell people. He taught me too. Front load your deals because they'll screw you on the back end. Because I know for a fact that the accounting done on my movies, certain movies, they definitely made much more than I made it for. And they'll say to me, "Oh, but and I'm like, you did not spend that much money. If your business model is that you spent that much money putting it out that you didn't make a profit on X movie, then you should be out of business." Because so I know it's bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because if you can't say to somebody that if you made a movie for $1 million, and then they spent about $1.2 million on that movie, and that movie made 20 times more or 30 times more, it's not possible they don't have a profit. But they'll tell you they did it.
They'll tell you, "Oh,
we
man,
did not make a profit on this." And you're like, then how? I know how much you spent, and I see how much you made. And they're like, "Yes, but da 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 da." And I'm like, your company should be collapsed. You should not. It does not make, because if you didn't make money after, even though it says you may make 200% more, no, 2,000% more than what you invested, and somehow you didn't make. It's all bullshit. Because what they do, they'll transfer. Big studios will transfer, I think. They'll transfer the fees, so costs that they lost on a movie that didn't do well onto your movie. Because they'll do it in aggregate. Because they release like 20 movies. So like a couple will flop, and they'll just like spread that out, the costs, whatever, and then they'll just hide it all among that stuff.
See, that's the shadiness, man. That's the shadiness.
Yeah, it's just like, I always feel like there needs to be. I mean, for independent filmmakers, I keep feeling like we don't have a union. I feel like we should either have a union, or we should all get together and do our own studio, or some way, and make our own distribution and stuff. Because like it's not. It's not that like studios are like it's just that they don't. This is just a common practice. They just they will always. It's not even just the big ones. Everyone does that. Like they all just very few companies will actually be up to say, "Oh yeah, here's your profits. Here's your back end." I've never heard that.
It's does the same thing. We do this at the sake of putting all my business out there. So I had my performance review last week. Totally got shafted on a raise this year, and we are the 4th richest company on the planet. And I was told it's because we can't afford it. And I said, are you kidding me? We had record-breaking quarters every quarter since like 2020 when the pandemic hit. I mean,
I just think that it should. I just think like. I mean, I guess that's how rich people get rich, but I just feel like, if you're going to if you don't want, because at some point there's going to be people are going to rebel. And as a result of rebelling, there are going to be regulations. If they want to keep the regulations off, then all they need to do is take care of their workers. I mean, I don't if you don't want there to be this scary socialist revolution or some shit like that or threat of that, just reward fucking pay your fucking employees, man. Just help the workers, man. That
goes a long way. Goes a long way.
I mean, it would even the country, the division in the country would fizzle out if the really rich guys would pay the workers to where they're comfortable. Then suddenly they wouldn't care about immigrants. They wouldn't care about they'd be like, well, I'm doing fine. Like I'm being taken care of. It's what they lose. That's going to cost them do you need $300 billion? Can you keep maybe $100 billion? I mean, what are you spending it on? I don't understand the thinking there, because these people could make everybody else's life a lot easier. And also they are at threat. You get Luigi Mangionis because of that shit. You don't have to do it. You can I mean, I know you have a fiduciary responsibility to your shareholders, but at a certain point, if you have employees that are saving you money, they should share in the wealth.
Yes.
I mean, it's
100%.
It's not that. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, because things are going to blow up. I don't know. If we end up in a recession, I don't know. People are going to be upset.
It's going to be nuts. How do you talk about the Luigi Mangione? How? What's your opinion on that? Just out of curiosity.
Well, I don't condone, murder.
Right.
You
Right.
know,
Well,
I-
yeah. That's
But I understand the frustration, why people reacted to that, because it was sort of a reflective of like how many people are affected by the broken healthcare system in the country. Like it doesn't work. I mean, anyone that thinks
Right.
it works, I don't know how you could think that. I mean, like
Right.
I just don't know how so many people go broke if they get sick. Like just go broke. Like,
True.
and I don't know, like
one health scare, man.
hardcore like libertarians would say like, well, medicine is a privilege. It's not a what's the word? A right.
Okay.
Like no one owes you health care, but I mean, like a sick society is a society that fails.
Yes.
So maybe it should be a right. And,
Right.
or at least to a certain degree. I mean, like, but those insurance companies definitely exist to cancel claims, like they go beyond it.
100%.
Even when you pay your bills, your insurance, they will still fuck you over. And it happens to a lot of people. So everyone has a grandmother or a mother or themselves or someone that like just got fucked over by them, so this guy goes and he takes out this guy that's job is to cancel people's claims. And yeah, people weren't that, upset about it. You know what I mean? And I understand the frustration. It's sad though, because there's a thing where like that company could have maybe just been a little cooler about like covering people, and then like people would be like, that's terrible what happened. But it's not that much. I don't think like asking for a little bit of healthcare is such a big ask.
Not at all.
So I don't know. I don't know. So I mean, like, again, I don't think that guy. I mean, he shot that guy in the head, man. It was pretty hardcore. But
from the back of him too, man.
I mean, like it looked like I thought it was a professional hit. I was like, whoa,
Same.
that was a hit, man. And so, and it's cold, but like at the same time, and people say, but he's responsible for the death of a lot of other people, and in one sense, like, yeah, it's true, and he's there, and he's a big executive, but on the other hand, he is part of a system that they. Like when things become just about like numbers, and the system isn't going to, no one's going to draw, put any kind of like any kind of restriction at all on like something like that, then they're just going to be the bottom line, and then people become numbers, and like they're just trying to save like an outcome of like if you get sick for an insurance company, the best thing for them is if you just drop dead. Because then they got all your money for insurance for all those years, and then they don't have to pay for any like that is for in their models. I mean, obviously that's the best result for them,
Right.
Like,
and they're doing record-breaking numbers. That's what blows my mind. Record-breaking numbers. You were looking at. I've been looking at. Well, I guess I was when it was fresh. They're looking at like their expenses and how much they're taking in every year, and it's like, you really, you got an algorithm to tell you now.
It's and it feels like because they're dealing with people's lives, it doesn't feel right that it's such a for-profit. Insurance is a for-profit business. Like it feels like if you could just break even, you know what I mean? Like, and then everyone's getting paid. Like you shouldn't have shareholders and shit. It just should be like a service. I don't know. I mean, maybe because it's kind of a Ponzi scheme. I don't know. I think honestly, like, at the risk of sounding too European, I feel like, maybe a public option would be okay. So the very worst would relieve that problem. Like, so that if you want like really good medical and like, care and stuff like that, you pay insurance. But at the very worst, if you don't want to have insurance, there you take the public option, which is like expanded Medicaid, just get away with Medicare and just have it cover everybody. But like, it's not like, you don't get like the best room, or you don't get like you have to share with a bunch of other people, whatever. Like that's the public option. So it'll still drive people to buy insurance because they want preferential care, like their own room and when they're sick, with like longer, physical therapy and stuff like that. But like at the same time, I mean, I just think a public option would be fine. I just don't know why you start saying that and people start calling you like, a communist, and they're like, what? I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, I mean, it's
I just,
all it is another side to the coin. I mean, we're
yeah,
already
I just,
basically
yeah,
raping and pillaging fucking the society of,
yeah.
you need your teeth pulled? Well, you need, you have a broken foot? Well,
No, I
it's
saw a
insane.
YouTube video where a guy was saying like, was doing an instruction on how to staple a wound, saying like, if you get cut and you have to go to the hospital, who wants to pay like $10,000? Let me show you
Oh,
how
shit.
you can just staple it yourself. And like he's like not unironically showing you how to glue or staple a wound shut so you don't have to go to the hospital. I'm like, oh my God. But I mean, I've lived in Italy, I've lived in France, like that, like in Italy, I hurt my foot, right? Like it broke my
Okay.
foot. My friends took me into the hospital. They set it, they put a cast on it, they gave me some painkillers, and then I left. They never asked me my name.
Oh, wow.
They
Okay.
didn't even ask me my name. Like not like, nothing. I wrote nothing down. I didn't ask me like this. I mean, they asked me my first name just to be friendly, but like they weren't like really interested in like where I lived or anything like that. Like not a dime. So,
Damn.
and Italy's doing fine. So
Yeah.
like, I've been there, they're not like all in the street and like, they're not living in houses like 10 people. Like they're allowed to like, I mean, it's still a capitalist country, but
Right.
like I was like, what's going on here? Because like if it was in America, I would have been in the emergency room, like filling out forms and like seeing if they might say, oh, you have this, your insurance doesn't cover here. We're going to transfer you to another place. Like all that stuff that happens when you just hurt your foot. That like your HMO doesn't cover it or whatever. Like in Italy, it was like, I just couldn't believe it. I was like, wait a minute. How much do I? And everyone's like looking at me like, what are you doing? Like, you don't pay.
That's great though. That's see, and even something like that, that's a culture shock I think I would like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was culture shock. And I was like, wow. And again, like I know people say, well, their taxes are really high though. The truth is in Italy, the taxes are more or less the same as they are here. They just don't put that much into defense.
Okay.
Like they don't build bombs.
Right.
I mean, I understand having a strong military and all that, but like, I don't think that we really need to keep building like, I mean, I guess it's jobs, I guess, but like, do we need to really spend that much money building like new bombs?
Right.
Like, I mean, I just can take a little bit of that for healthcare. I don't know.
It's weird. We might need it soon though. We might need all that money for the military soon.
Like, to China?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
Like,
dude.
I mean, the Chinese might beat us. I don't know.
To a
They could
pulp,
beat us
man.
with just like, on video games. Like,
Yeah, that's what's scary now because they fly drones and shit like that with the little Xbox controllers and things like that,
Yeah.
and it's like, you get some guy over there that's like FaZe Clan a guy type deal on Call of Duty, and he's on there.
yeah.
Yep, got him, and you're just like, what happened? Oh, I just took out Dover, Delaware.
Yeah.
What?
I know. I mean, like they do have. I mean, I don't know, but I think like their war, the way they perceive war is economic war. So I think that from a sort of a utilitarian. I mean, like I know that they do have like military ships and stuff like that, but I think that for them. You win wars financially. You ruin them. You ruin your enemy financially. Like that's
Right.
their art of war philosophy. Like it's a 4,000-year-old culture, at least I think 4,000. Anyway, so like they or 5,000. Right. I don't know. They've been around a long ass time, right? So like they've gone through their wars, and I don't know. I don't know. I hope it never turns into a shooting war. That would be terrible. I would be terrible in a shooting war. I mean, like
I think I would too.
I would be like, that's not my jam.
Right? Yeah, I don't think I could. I'm just glad I'm over. It can't be drafted. Can't just
Yeah.
just kind of hanging out, watching it unfold, which is great. But at the same time, it's like fuck, man. You know what I mean? Can't really.
I mean,
do
I'm good in the wars, like in Kingdom Come Deliverance. I can like I'm pretty good as a third person, in RPG like guy. But like,
right.
physically doing it.
I seen a little thing. A little birdie told me, man, you like to play Hitman and you fuck with the Oculus, the what they call the Meta Quest now.
I had done that, but I play Hitman, but not in VR. But yeah, Hitman 3, Hitman World of Assassin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I play that game. That's a good game.
What's your like console of choice, or are you a PC guy?
Oh, I'm on PC.
Nice.
So actually, I'm on a Mac, but I play through the cloud through GeForce Now.
Okay.
Which is a cloud-based server, so I can't really put in mods. But you know, I mean, like I played Hitman for a while, but I've I did. There's this thing called the freelance part, and I've collected every damn weapon, and I've done every map so many times. I've done all the contracts. I know I'm burned out. So now, so then I went back to Skyrim after that, and Elder Scrolls Online got really tiring. So now though, then I went to Kingdom Come Deliverance. Okay. And then I thought that game was great. And then the second one came out, and I just recently, so I've been messing around with that, and like it's a pretty fun game.
I'll have to check that out.
You get to go to Bohemia, and you're like there, and feel like you're in medieval Bohemia. It's pretty cool.
Nice. I love the Oculus, man. I love, well, the Meta. I call it the Oculus still.
Do you use the Oculus to play like any major games?
Not really. I'm like a walkabout mini golf kind of guy. I don't know if you're familiar with that on there. I love that. It's that, and I think the best game or not best, but like the biggest kind of game I think I've played on there was Arizona Sunshine. It's still not like a AAA title. I had a download code for Resident Evil, but I never picked it up.
I mean, it looked like I have the Oculus and I've been in there. I've never played any major games either, but like I know that Hitman you can play in VR. I would love to try that. It might change the whole dynamic. And also Skyrim is like you can go into Skyrim with using VR, and I think that'd be fun to run around in that world, in like a Oculus environment, a 3D Oculus environment. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, my buddy, he's big into the. I've never played it, so I can't speak on it. But I know that he's big into right now the Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I don't play that either, but everyone likes that. I also never played. There was the big one that came out. I didn't play. That's why I don't even remember the name. Something Quest, Elven Quest. I don't know what it's called. But I also play Cyberpunk. Pretty good game. And I don't know, Manor Lords. I don't know, like whatever is on there. I played a bunch of stuff. I like the more fantasy stuff, I like that stuff. It's pretty fun.
RPG type deal.
Yeah. Although Hitman isn't that. Hitman's something else, but like I don't know.
Yeah, that's just like assassin, right? Stealthy assassin.
Yeah, you're a psychopath.
How much inspiration for Hitman went into Great Kills?
Oh, I don't know, because they happened at the same time. I actually played Hitman before. No, because like Great Kills. Okay, so Great Kills' origin is a movie called The Invisible Life of Thomas Lynch, which I made back in 2009. Okay, with the same people, and then he came back and he said, like, let's do a TV series of that. Like just right after COVID, 2022, during COVID, I guess, like toward the end of it. I'm like, okay. So went to Staten Island and shot that. I had already been playing Hitman. The thing about Hitman though is that like it's like definitely like the kills. Some of the kills definitely influenced like what I was thinking. But like the difference between like that guy, Agent 47, or I think it's Agent 47. But I think so. Him and like he's good. And he's international hitman, he's like a genetically engineered hitman, whereas my hitman is like just some Staten Island working class idiot, like not very good at, he's and then we as the filmmakers are even dumber than he is,
Dude. I love it. I believe you had a great line in there. You got Thomas Lynch. This guy walks into the kitchen, strangles him out, And you're like, yeah, man, that was great. Can we do it again? Can we shoot it again? It's like, what? It's just like, are you serious right now? I always thought that was great. That's so awesome. It's like, really? Are we still not there yet?
Yeah. That whole show is like, it's so, because like he came to me, like, he didn't have, it's not like we had any money. It's just he had enough to make it. Like, well, not, I mean, like I think it's the cheapest show ever made in history. But
it's the shit though.
We the philosophy was like, well, I'll take all of I'll use our lack of money and our which will definitely create like production problems and poor quality of film and sound and everything. Like everything's going to be bad. So if that's the case, I'll work it in as part of the story. So like I can just say like the sound guy sucks, like our sound guy sucks. Like, so like, and since I don't write the dialogue because like if you write dialogue for that kind of thing, it doesn't sound natural. So like everything that
like I said,
so if you roll long enough, people will say stuff that works, because we're just talking now. And it's after a while, you don't even like realize it doesn't even feel like we're shooting, we're acting. Like we're just saying stuff like, like we're just being like cynical, and so it kind of evolves like that. And then again, like if any time like somebody's out of focus, I'm like, you guys got to work on your focus, man. You're like, yeah, but like I just work it into the story.
Absolutely.
And season 2 looks a little better because we upgraded to 4K. And we got a sound guy a little bit for a little while. The sound guy in the first one was if you remember, he gets killed, right? So in the first episode, he was a PA and I'm like, here, I need you to be our sound guy. And I meant like as an actor, right? Just hold it and just be oblivious, like oblivious. And he's like, okay. And, he was who he was. And I think it was like after day 4 of shooting of the pilot, he was, he's like, wait a minute, am I in this? I'm like, yeah, dude, you're not, that's a prop mic. You're not plugged in. He's like, I'm not. No. So, like, and that whole time I've been saying, like, dude, you're the fucking worst sound guy that ever lived. What the hell's wrong with you? Oh my God, get that shit out of my. Do you know how to work? I was like giving him so much shit. And he thought he's like, oh, I guess that's just. Dude. And I'm like, I'm not. Do you think I'm that much of an asshole? Oh my God, I was fucking around. We were acting. I'm so sorry. Like I was. He's like, oh no, it's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. No, you should never think that a director should talk to you like that. That's not okay.
Right? He just took it with a grain of salt. Like, shit, man, I gotta do better.
Yeah, like I'm like, he was like, I'm like, God, you like that. I mean, because like if you reflect on it, like the things I was saying to him are just unacceptable on a real set. You don't berate your sound guy and humiliate him in front of people like that. Like that'd be terrible. Right. So he thought that was just, I guess this is just paying my dues. And I'm being like, I'll be a sound guy in Hollywood. I'm like, you're an actor in this show.
Oh, dude, in first 3 days, I bet he probably went home and had a real big pep talk with himself. Like, yeah, come on, man, you got this. He was
a pretty radical guy too. Like, it's just funny because he's like, I mean, like I didn't even get his name right the whole time. Like I was like, so what's Dan? Like his name is Pat. Okay, Dan, whatever. Like Pat, whatever. Right. And so like, because I was explaining to him, okay, in this shot, you're gonna get in the middle of a scuffle and they're gonna tase you and you're gonna die. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm like, I'm not really kill you. I mean, like you pretend to die. It's like, what? Why would I be in this? Why would I? Like he didn't understand. I'm like, that's when I was a lot of miscommunication for a bit there because I was like saying, it's in the scene, like all the other scenes where like we have our stuff. He's like, what are you talking about? Like what stuff? Well, like when I pretend to be mad at you, he's like, no, I thought you were just telling me to get better sound. I'm like, you're not getting any sound.
You're not even plugged in right now.
Mic. It was a prop mic. It
was great. You ever seen that movie? What was that? 976 Evil or something from back in the day with they had the boom come through. You can see the boom come up through the top of the movies. Like what was it Ozzy Osbourne, I think. It's like
Yeah.
I always think as soon as you said the boom guy, all I could think of was get that shit out of here. It's all I could think of
The
was
boom
that.
would drop into the frame. Yeah.
Boom, drop it to the frame, no one notices it. Well, I guess they may have noticed it and probably couldn't afford to reshoot.
To get around it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that shows, and I'm about to shoot season 3. So it's pretty funny.
Is that what you've been working on for like these past couple months?
I mean, I'm also trying to set up a movie with Devon Sawa.
I'd seen you talk about that. You said, if you can't disclose anything, I totally get it. But you had said something about there was another production or something that's almost
okay. Well, I'm making a movie. I don't care I don't care who knows about it. I'm making a movie. In 2022, after I made the first season of Great Kills, Devon saw some of that and he was like, "This shit is fucking hysterical." Like we need, and I said, like, I have an idea that we could do something like this together, because he would love the idea of the form, right? Like just like argue with the director of a film, like, oh, he liked all that shit. He thought it was funny. So I said, like, I had this idea to make a show called Actor/Demon Hunter, right? So so I said, well, why don't we just call it Devon Sawa Demon Hunter, right? This is back in 2022, and he's like, and it's a documentary about how you are basically like you hunt demons and you're an actor. You're Devon Sawa.
Shit, and you're like in your free time. Okay, I'm with you on that.
You're Devon Sawa, but you belong to this order called like the Veiled Order, and they send you out on like and it's a long line of demon hunters, and because you're in Hollywood, you're well positioned because there's lots of demons are attracted to Hollywood, and blah 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 blah. And so you're this demon hunter, and not just like an exorcist, but like you're like a combat operative, like you kill cultists with like machine guns, and you're fucking hardcore. And I follow you as a filmmaker, or the crew follows you, and the director completely doesn't believe any of it and thinks you drugged us, or you think it's all full of shit, and like it's constantly like arguing with you and that kind of thing. And so that was it. We're gonna do it as a series, and we pitched it around, and everyone kept saying this should be a movie. Like Blumhouse told us that you just make this into a movie. So after the writer's strike, which was in 2023, I finally decided to say, like, okay, I'll turn this into a script. So last fall, I wrote the script, and so now we just started to push it out there, and we're making moves on it as a movie. So so
that's great.
so. Again, it's been around for a while, and so I took this like 8-part series and I compressed all of it into an hour and a half. So it's a very tight, totally insane, like he's this demon hunter. Like it starts out like it looks like we're on some combat mission in the middle of New York, like down some alley. Like we're running down the alley. There's Devon Sawa, but you don't know if he's an actor. He's playing a part. He's doing the whole thing like the Marines, and like we're all there following him, and like he's signaling to us. And we go into this house, and we go into he breaks down this apartment door, and it's like with this like one of those rams, and he's got these guns, and he pulls them out, and there's like cold guys come at us, and he blows them away, and then there's 2 other guys come out, and he has knives, and he gets those guys, and then like and then there's a woman tied to a chair, and he runs up to her, and he's like, "I've got you now," and the woman looks up at him with like black eyes and says like, "This one belongs to me or no one," and the head blows up, and the blood comes all over everybody, and then I go like, so did this pretty much turn out how you were hoping, or like what was he's like, no, actually, and it's at this, and then the tag is so I just have one more question. So do all actors also hunt demons, or he goes, no, just some of us. And then Devon Sawa Demon Hunter. Right. So then you realize awesome. That's the first time you realize, no, Devon is playing Devon. Like it's not right. So then and then we go from there. So yeah, you're the first to hear the pitch.
Dude, that's great. I love it. I'm gonna be honest. That is fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's totally insane. I'm at the end of this movie. All the crew. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to play the director. I think I might hire somebody. But like the crew, the filmmakers, and Devon all end up in the back rooms at the end. You know that video, the YouTube meme where then the back rooms?
No.
Have you ever heard of that? It's the minimal spaces. It's like these yellow rooms that go on forever and ever. It's all over and it's a creepypasta from
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
It's called the back rooms. Google it. It's pretty funny. And it's like the myth is that you're just standing around, all of a sudden you glitch and you're in these rooms, like basically office space that is like where they're just chairs and it's very eerie and it goes on forever, like endless offices and like there's something down there with you, but you don't know what it is. It's a pretty big. Even some video games now are like pools, and there's other games like that. They talk about liminal spaces. So yeah, we end up in the back rooms being chased by MoMA and Slender Man and shit like that. Like,
okay.
So we're like. And it's supposed to be a version of hell, I guess. So, and you know, it's totally insane. Like, right?
Dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's totally insane.
So you're in the process now of, I guess, pitching it or like to
yeah, I mean,
other
well,
places?
we have. I'm willing it into existence. So we're dealing with some Canadians right now, and we're talking to an international sales agent, and we're just putting together the money so that we can you piece together like some tax credit with some soft money and a little bit of capital, and you just get going on it. So we're putting that together, and cool, I think it'll be hysterical. I mean, because if it's shot in this documentary style, right, but the effects are really good, then they'll look even better because it's shot in this documentary style. I mean, you know, like. I mean, there's a scene where in the very beginning of the first act where he has to go exorcise this kid who's possessed. Like, it's just like The Exorcist. He's right, possessed by Pazuzu, and he's like, and when he says it's Pazuzu, you know, like the director, or whether it's me or whoever, says like, that's from The Exorcist, man. That's The Exorcist. Like, this is bullshit. You know, like he's like, you know, like so like. But like that whole room is like breaking apart. The house is breaking apart. The head turns around. He floats in the air. He's thrown around. And that's all filmed in this like, you know, like documentary style. I think it'll like I don't know if you ever saw the movie Troll Hunter.
Not
where
aware of,
it's this Norwegian movie where it's a found footage movie about these people who follow this man who hunts trolls. The effects are so amazing. It's like, or Cloverfield is kind of that way too. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, okay, I'm familiar with that. That was a good one. Like that.
Yeah, so like the effects are really realistic, and then on top of it, like, so we'll put all the money into effects and then shoot it like a documentary, and I think it'll be pretty funny.
Hell yeah,
pretty fun. Yeah,
and that's. I mean, obviously, you guys have been working together for a while. It's been what over. Well, did you work with him before
years?
SLC Punk, or was that the first time you guys were ever introduced?
That's the first time I worked. He came on to that. He was a kid. Like, he was.
Yeah, that. I mean, I know he had other things before that, but as far as I'm concerned, I would consider that like his breakout role.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he'd been in Casper.
Oh, fucking yeah! Never mind. Yeah, I guess so.
That's why we're doing the whole. That's why he works at Demon Hunter, because since a kid he's been doing that shit.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, he did Casper. Then he did. Then he was in Wild America. He was in a bunch of stuff as a kid. But this is the movie that like started to break out of just being like a kid.
So the teeny bopper kind of deal.
Punk. Yeah, and then he did Idle Hands. Yep, right after that and Final Destination.
Final Destination.
So, like, I just feel like he does these great horror stuff. So that tying it back to Devon Sawa Demon Hunter, I'm asking him like, but you do all these movies where like, you know, you fight even, you know, in your movies, even in SLC Punk, he thinks that like Satan's in his house, you know, so like
my mom, it's the devil.
Yeah. So I don't know. So like, it's anyway. Yeah. He was successful when he came to us. Like he's already been doing quite a bit of stuff. Like Christina Ricci was in, he was in with Ricci.
Casper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I that totally slipped my mind. That was a good movie for when I was a kid, but I totally forgot about that because I was like, yeah, I mean, that's where I guess on a teenage level where I was introduced to him, and then, you know, obviously he was, you know, Stan and, you know, for Eminem, and then he went on to Final Destination, and then, you know, his I guess reputation started to really grow, and it more or less, you know, shed that child actor persona, which is great because a lot of child actors, I mean, I know, you know, you're, you know, in the business, you know, a lot of child actors get fucked up, man.
Yeah, they get
don't
fried
come
out.
back.
They get fried. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very few of them keep going, but
Yeah. So, yeah.
But so yeah, he with SLC Punk was his. I don't know, like that was the one where he took a risk. I remember he came to the set and he had his cute little blonde hair, and I was like, okay, we're gonna have to shave that. he was like, what? He was 18 years old. He's like, what? What do you mean? Like, I have another role I have to do right after this. I was like, I'm just kidding. We're just gonna like deliver these spikes.
Hell yeah. How do you get the gloves? Whose idea was the gloves? I've always wondered where the gloves came from.
Oh, the mittens. They're just leather ski mittens that were, I guess, that our costume designer, she bought them at a thrift store. Nice. They're just orange ski mittens, really, really big ones. And, so it just was funny,
Hell yeah.
I mean, because she shows me options.
Right.
Well, you can use these or can you use these? And I'm like, oh no, those big orange ones right there.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Plus, you know, something like that on camera, I mean, obviously I don't know. I'm just a guy fucking reaching for air here, but I would assume thinking about it through the lens, it's like, oh, that's going to pop on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
that's the idea. Like I want this guy to be sitting there with these huge orange gloves.
Oh yeah.
And his big green hair, big as life.
Yes. Hell yeah. Man, it's crazy. I relate to him more than I realize, because when he comes to me, he's like, my mom is the devil. My mom, a couple years ago, my mom passed away like 2 years ago, but she went through this thing with brain cancer, and then she had a huge brain surgery. And then when she was like going through like her palliative care and things like that, I would come into the room and I'd be like, hey Ma, what's up? Bring her whatever, talk to her. Hey, what's up? And then I'd catch her talking to herself, and I'm like, what are you doing, Ma? And she's like, I'm the devil. And I'd be like, oh, really? Really?
Wow. She went there.
Yeah. And she'd be like, I'm the devil, and I'm talking to what she would call the portal people. And I was like, fuck, man. And it's crazy because that scene always kind of popped in my head about like my mom.
My mom. So was it what's it called? A geoplastomy kind of a thing?
It was, so she had like a 2.5 inch tumor behind her right eye. It started as lung cancer. It was stage 4.
It spread.
Killed it. It spread. She went through all her chemo and everything. Everything was good. They were giving her blood tests. They were like, oh, everything, pretty much everything's out of the lungs, and they never checked her brain. And then we were told she would have about 18 months and she would start to, go through these cycles towards the end of her life. And the cycles were spot on, but we didn't know that it was because of a whole nother reason. It just became an aggressive.
My mom had also died of a brain tumor.
Oh, wow.
A few years back too. Yeah. But she had it was just that. It was a geoblastoma. It was just, I forget what it's called, but it's a really bad one. And she lasted 4 months at most.
Oh.
It's the same thing that like John McCain had it. It's nasty, like, it's like a bullet, like in the head, slow bullet, slow moving bullet. And she also like was doing weird stuff when she would forget, like she would sundown. So like toward the end of the day, she would be like, go downstairs and get my fax for me. Somebody just faxed me, and I'm like, I can't go downstairs because we're in a hospital.
Right. Yep.
She's like, oh no, but I mean, but still, just go get the fax. And she wouldn't stop. Like, no, it's down your house is 3 miles away. Do you want me to go to your house and pick up the fax? She's like, no, it's just downstairs. Like, she really was adamant, and also suddenly would say things. They're just not part of my mom's vocabulary. Like really awful things too. They can say I don't know. That stuff sucks.
It does. It is a crazy awakening, because the mind, obviously we all know the mind is an intricate thing, but, to see a firsthand experience from both of our accounts like that, a lot of people don't really see that side of it, or they don't really take into consideration exactly how perplexing the mind can be when it once it's damaged, or, it's trying to overcome something or what may have you.
Well, they start to enter a dream state, right? So everything becomes I don't even know, I don't know. Because she also talked about portals too. She saw
oh, really?
Yeah. She started seeing the other side. I don't
wow.
that's yeah, it's weird.
Wow, that is
open that up. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
She never
That
said she
is,
was the devil, but she definitely like
the portal
started,
thing. Yeah, that's
like,
wild.
I'm gonna see you again. You know, like and like she never talked like that before that. You know,
Yeah.
she said, we're gonna see each other again. We're gonna see each other. I'm like,
Right.
okay, okay. That's a bet. That's a deal. That's a date.
Hell yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I'm agnostic, so I don't know about all that. But like, you know, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I'm more or less like my mom always said she had like a real understanding with God, but then once she became sick, she she kind of lost that faith a little bit, you know. But it's weird. I'm more or less I wouldn't say agnostic, but I consider it to be just more like a realist. Like I try to think things through. You know what I mean? Like I believe in what I can see, kind of deal. You know.
Yeah.
But it's very weird because there are things that are totally unexplainable to the normal, like the common folk. You know what I mean? And you're like, damn.
Well, you can't prove any of that stuff, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. Is it all a coincidence or
you can't prove? Well, you can't prove. Obviously, you can't prove God. You can't prove life after death. You can't prove any of that stuff. Like you can't prove it, and science, the best, this is not possible to prove it. And there's no evidence of it. So, like obviously from a purely analytical point of view, it'd be like it's absurd to assume that there is. On the other hand, there's still stuff that, they don't know. There's still stuff they haven't discovered yet. And I've always said, like, I studied some theology when I went to college. And it's a whole discipline, the philosophy of religion. And a lot of it's word games. So, at first you say like, well, the existential argument, the ontological argument for the existence of God is like a bit of a word game, and stuff. But then it occurred to me, there doesn't need to be a God for there to be an afterlife. It's not, there's no prerequisite for that. Like you don't, you don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know that they say like a consciousness is a sort of a bunch of chemicals reacting.
Okay. Yeah.
Like kind of hard time. I know that's presumed or at least assumed by, it's not proven, but it's not disproven either, but by that's what's proposed by a lot of scientists. But the origin of that is definitely very difficult to sort of pinpoint of why we're self-aware. And then I kind of sometimes in my more meditative states, it's like, but what is that? Like, what is it that makes a consciousness? Like, why is that? It feels like something else. So, I can imagine that consciousness maybe is some kind of other element that we don't understand that maybe goes into some other place. I don't know. There's no way of knowing until you do it. So, but again, I keep saying like you don't need that. You don't need a God for that,
right?
To exist. Like I've heard almost nobody ever say that. I've never heard anyone talk about that. And I was like, I mean, you don't need a God with a plan for there to be like something happen with your conscious mind, like after you die, like besides just dying with you. So I don't know. Like who knows? I don't know. You have to deal with what's going on here. No matter
it's
what.
Almost like a collective thought. You tap into that collective thought. You're a conscious mind. It's one. You can't explain it. It's like what do they call it? Like a phenomenon. You can't explain it, but you feel a sense of connection to it.
Yeah, I guess. I guess the Buddhists feel like your mind goes, or the Hindu you join the collective consciousness. I don't know what the hell. I don't know. That's a lot of very stoner talk,
right? Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth, right? A lot of
because you can think it's like what somebody said, the discussing theology and things like that can be interesting because you don't need facts,
right? Okay, I can see that.
Like because like it's not a science. It's not the way that you can't observe it. It's all like sort of thought. It's all sort of mind. Puzzles. So you can debate theology and stuff like that without you don't need it. There's no facts involved. It's just philosophy. It's just philosophy.
How persuasive is your argument? In a way.
But it's not like a Christian pastor saying, "Well, it's in the Bible." It's not. That's not very sophisticated. You know, like I mean, that's just a book
Right.
with like a bunch of a collection of parables, and allegories to try to for early ancient people to understand their world. So that they can understand why they're there. And then so it's theology, or at least the philosophy of religion and that kind of thing is a little deeper than that. Like you try to put that aside and think about how could you rationalize the existence of a God and a universe that is so cruel, blah, 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 blah. I mean, that kind of stuff. Like that's, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how he ended up there. Oh, because his parents dead. Yeah, all that. Yeah, got it.
A lot of people do that though. They will rationale, like they say, like person will say, like, God can never give you more than you can handle, and then you go outside and get fucking thrown into a wood chipper. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's fucking crazy. Like I don't know, it's just a weird little connection there, but you know what I mean. It's so weird. It's just these things that.
Well, if you're like heavily religious, then yeah, like every time like a team wins the sports, they like give it.
Yes.
They say, "Thank Jesus was on our side." It's on our. It's like, but so Jesus hates the other side.
Yeah. What about all those other people on the other team that were doing the same thing? Like, what? It's just, you have to have an outcome. You have to have a definitive.
Exactly. It's like, what do you, so like Jesus, so like, well, how come Jesus always gets the credit but never the blame? I think that's George Carlin said.
Oh yeah.
He never says Jesus fumbled the ball.
Right. It's true. That's true. They always go, oh, it's all part of the plan.
Yeah, I just want to thank Jesus for letting me win this game. Like, and the other guys are like, I guess Jesus doesn't like me.
Yeah. Let me. I like to thank God for this award, this Academy Award. And got all the other people up there going like, well, fuck me, right?
Yeah, like I guess God didn't like me at all.
Yeah,
I'm a loser.
My understanding, or your understanding, is a little better than mine, I guess. Like,
God
what the fuck is that?
Kids.
You have any kids?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude, me neither.
Yeah, way too irresponsible for that.
Oh, same, man. I like to get up and go. On a drop of a dime, so to speak. I have a wife. We have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
But other than that, How about you? You married?
Yeah, and then we have 2 cats.
Oh, nice.
2 cats. We're in New York, so we have cats.
Gotcha.
We live in an New York apartment with
Nice.
2 cats.
Nice. How long have you been married for?
We've been together for 17 years.
Nice, dude. That's cool.
So like, I mean, ever since I moved to New York. So yeah, it's been a long time. She's
you were
from
in
Paris.
Jersey, then Salt Lake, and then New York, right? Is that your?
Well, yeah, Salt Lake, then Italy.
Or overseas, right? For schooling, right?
And then to LA, and then to New York.
Nice.
So I had a whole other life in LA, like a long.
Where do you like it the most?
Oh, I don't like LA very much at all.
Okay.
I like the city because what I most like about New York is that even though it's dirty, I can get around without a car, and that's kind of, I like the comfort. I like being able to do that. Like I don't like to have, because after in LA, you have to be in your car all the fucking time.
I can see that.
And it's really nice not to ever have to be in a car. Like at all. Like I can walk everywhere. Like I can, like to the grocery store, to the bar, or to the band that's playing down the street, or to like wherever, like everything is here. Like and if it's a little further, it's only 14 miles the length of the island. So like if I want to go a little further, I just jump on a subway or take a bus, right? Like, and it's just so easy. People say, like, aren't you afraid of the subway? It's like, it's not so bad. Especially, like, if you're not, like, because I'm not a 9 to 5 person, so my hours are different. So I've never been on a crowded subway. Like, it's just, like, get on there, get off, like,
just do your thing.
And I've never really been, touch wood, I've never really been bothered down there. I know it was far worse in the 70s and 80s.
But Times Square was insane, they say, right?
Yeah. I mean, like, even in the 90s. But I feel like, well, it's way too expensive. This is very expensive. I like my 2 favorite places. Like I like, Salt Lake City because it's beautiful. Like the mountains. You get out into the mountains. It's just really gorgeous. I don't know, but I don't think it's the politics are a little stifling, and you need a car. But like it is a beautiful place, and there's a lot of really cool people there. So I like it there too. But I really like, let's say, maybe I would like Paris or Rome. Both those cities, you don't need a car. Both those cities are really cool, beautiful, very safe, very fun to be in, stuff like that. So I don't. So it's, I've also lived in Buenos Aires for a year. Okay. It's an interesting town. But yeah, so I don't know. But LA is, again, like that to me, that's just like hell. I don't like Los Angeles. I think that's because I have bad memories too. I broke up with a couple of girls there and like broke my heart and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Understandable. That shit like that'll keep you, man. It'll damper a place.
It definitely does. Yeah.
It'll damper a place.
I drive around and soured on like two major relationships, like destroyed it, and I'm like, oh. Go there and like everybody would see like we went there. Oh, I don't want to.
Yeah, isn't that how it goes? You're like, nah, that's now out of my wheelhouse of things. I don't go there. I don't visit. I don't think about it. And it's weird. I'm like the same way. I don't. You know, you chalk up places and things to the feeling you had when you were there the most, or you know the great impact that you had, and it's like
right. But see, that's what's coming out in New York is that there's no emotional attachment like that it's negative to any specific place here. Like in LA, there's a lot of where like we went everywhere. Like I was there for a long time, so like you know like every hotel, every street, every neighborhood, you know, I can be like, fuck, I remember hanging out. You know, like, right. Yeah, you know.
Hell yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'm sentimental that way. I don't know.
It's you know what that is? That's just keeping your feelings intact.
Yeah,
I
know
what I mean.
Like
that's keeping them in check, man. It's not letting you know to say sometimes your memory gets a little faded with age. You're like, oh, no, I don't think maybe it wasn't like that. Nah. And you're like, nah, I know exactly what it was. I know exactly what it was.
Yeah, my memory's okay. So. Unfortunately,
you know one thing I found, I never knew this until when we originally started talking about you coming on. People might find this interesting. The name Alan Smithy.
Yeah.
Like, can you explain just for people listening at home, like what
Alan Smithy is a DGA? It's adopted by the DGA, but it's a fake director. Director doesn't exist. That if for some reason you want to disassociate yourself from a movie that you directed, you give Alan Smithy the credit so that you don't. So he's directed a bunch of movies.
It's one thing I noticed.
and you don't really. You're talking about River Made to Drown in, which
yes,
so that movie I'm proud of, and the reason why my name was pulled off it, or why I pulled my name, I didn't do it. My manager did it. I said, like, why did you do that? He did it because I was very annoyed that they pulled the music that I had on there and put different music on. And I was angry about that because I liked the music that was there and it worked for the movie, and the new music was terrible. And I was like very angry about that. And so my manager, reading that James is very angry, said, pull his fucking name off then and call it Alan. And then when I found out, I was like, no, I'm just mad. I'm not that mad. You know, like, I like the movie. I just don't like the music. Anyway, it's not like his fault. Or it's just, you know, I was busy doing something else at the time. And then he just assumed that was like the move to make. And I wasn't really, it's not something I wanted to happen. I wanted to keep my name on it, but it was too late at that point.
Gotcha.
So like, whatever.
That's interesting. I was under the impression that, you know, that you had a, you know, falling out with somebody. You were just like, I'm taking myself off.
No,
of
I
it.
just
That's
didn't
crazy.
like, it wasn't even the producers that did it. I think they're fine people. It was the the sales agent. He did it before. He had done it before on a movie with Heather Graham. I did. He had his friend. He took out all this great music I put together. It was like this sort of Polanski style movie, and I had this like, I put together this guy put together this orchestra and did this really great soundtrack with like live instruments and everything like that, and then it was fucking awesome. It was like this sort of Schoenberg style music that was really scary and really odd. And I still have that copy. But he then the foreign sales the same thing. The same guy picked it up to sell it foreign, but he has a friend that does music. So he charges the producers. This is how he gets a little bit of extra money. He charges them. And this is great, but you can't sell it on this music. He convinces them that. And like, while I'm off doing another movie, they're like, okay, whatever it takes to sell. And then he gets his friend to do some synth music and replaces my fucking awesome soundtrack with this crappy synth music that just because he can then pocket another $20,000 or $30,000 or some like petty amount of money. And then I was so mad the first time. And then when I found out they went to the same sales agent for River Made a Drown In, I couldn't believe it. I was like, guys, he's gonna pull the music, isn't he? And that's exactly what he did. And he put his own. So I was raving with anger. And I told my manager, I never want to talk to them again. Like, I don't want to know. I don't want to. Then he misread that as James is just pulling his, name up. And unfortunately, like, I was so hot headed back then that I didn't. I should have been more explicit. I should have been, more like, tempered and said like, well, this is how I feel. I'm angry that they're doing this, but obviously, like, they're going to do what they're going to do. Right. I obviously don't want my name off it. Like, instead I was like saying, fuck them. I don't ever want to talk to them again. I was a kid. So, I mean, it's still my 20s. I was very uppity then. Like, I would explode on any little detail in my 20s. Like, I would get so mad. Passionate. And I would like, just like I'd be shouting like, "Are you trying to crucify me? You literally have my hands. You will put nails on me. You have nailed me to the fucking cross. How much do I have to bleed for you? How much do I have to die?" I was crazy. Like, that's shit. And my reps would be like, "Oh God damn, dude." I was very careful not to personally attack them. I'd always bring it on me, like, should I blow my brains out? Should I cut my hands off? How much should I fucking, rip my throat out? Do you want to drink my blood? Do you want to kill my puppies? That kind of, that kind of stuff. Right. So that they couldn't get defensive. They say like, calm down, James. But they couldn't be like me going like, you're a dick. Then the people get defensive. So my strategy was when I got that angry was to bring it back on me, but still
self-deprecation. Like, hell yeah. Yeah.
Like, and they're just like, fuck, he's mad, but it wasn't helpful, and also like, it didn't really make me, I think I learned that also from that producer to get like mad like that. But like, I don't think like it's worth being angry like that anymore. So I don't do that.
It was instilled in you since you were a PA, that's what you were practicing for.
Yeah, he taught, because he would do that. He would blow up. Like, I don't know. I just feel like life's too short to get that mad at people about, people have like limitations. People have miscommunications and stuff, and like, it's just like I don't know, like, if I got anything materially done by doing that. Right. And I just made them miserable if I did that. But at the same time, though, I was trying not to personally insult them, so at least they wouldn't feel bad. Like, I called them like whatever, said something hurtful. I tried not to, but I would pop off a lot, back then.
I don't blame you though, man. I don't, like you said, nobody's going to care about the project more than you. Nobody's going to fight for the project more than you. And at the end of the day, nobody has your vision in mind. So, from where I'm sitting, that's totally understandable.
A lot of life is like that. No one's going to care more than you about you.
Yep.
You might have somebody in your life that does, but like, you should be the person to care most about you and your shit. I feel like that's because like, you have to advocate for yourself, like whatever it is, particularly whatever it's a career or a personal life. In the end of the day, like, people can leave you, say that I'm done, but you can't leave yourself, so you need to be pretty strong advocate of yourself.
Oh yeah. I think in a River Made a Drown In, I think Alan probably had obviously, with dialogue, you write dialogue all the time. There's certain dialogue, there's certain things that just stick with you, certain lines that stick with you. And I think Alan had a really good line in there. He goes, I just want to push my bullshit, eat, sleep, fuck, and finally die. And I'm like, that's life in a nutshell, man. That's at least where I'm sitting. That's life in a nutshell right there.
That was Michael Pirioli. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That was. We wrote that line. He was good in that role. He's a good actor. That guy.
He was very good. I found, man, I don't want to open up a can of worms, but I thought it was crazy how, Thaddeus dies and then he's out again and he's just like, fucking hooking up with couples and this and that, but he's just fucking lost again. At a time when he had found himself, he came back in and then just got leveled all in, what was it, like the span of like a week or two in the movie. It just gets leveled, you know what I mean? And then he's finding himself again. It's that's a deep movie, man. I mean,
like
feel like a lot of
originally,
people should know more about it.
The ending, Michael and I had sat down and gone through the script and did a whole overhaul because originally he has this, the end was Thaddeus dies, he does his show, and he becomes a famous artist.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, life doesn't work. And the guy becomes like a Buddhist. I'm like, life isn't like that, man. Like that's not life at all. Like
right.
The show should fail, and and he should fucking like just say that it's bullshit. Like life is bullshit, and like just go back in it. Because I wanted to see what attracted him to that world in the first place, and it was a bit of a self-loathing, that would let him just be used and sell himself like that, and like no love at all, and and this is what Thaddeus was trying to teach him, love, but he wasn't, but there's a dark side to him that doesn't want any of that. It just wants, so like it was a sort of a sort of punishment, and then he realized, well, I can help this kid, maybe I'll just take care of this guy, like this Jimmy Duvall, and. So then, so he finally calms down. He comes around and he's like, "I'm gonna like fucking help out this guy," And so he's, I think he's squatting in his own apartment in the end. Yeah, yeah. So we took it to a much darker place. And the ending, the other ending was like, "Hey, I'm rich, and we're all rich, and I'm gonna go off to India and to be a Tibetan, to Tibet and all this shit." Like, it was like, no, like
that's a. I like the ending you guys came up with. Yeah, that's actually out there a lot better. I think because, like you said, it's way more realistic. And when tragedy happens, obviously in the movie, I'm sure he wasn't thinking of Thaddeus until he came back around. And he's looking for him. Oh, I'll give you all my money. I'll stay here. Then you have no money. But then it really shows that. It really shows that obviously there was a financial gain at one point in time when he was with him, but they had a much deeper connection, especially one where he would feel that he wants to go with him to finally die. And I think that's what, obviously what fucked him up the most, that he's like, oh, this is some guy I thought didn't give a shit about me. And here I am, he needs me to move on. Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah. Because I was thinking that like Thaddeus, Richard Chamberlain's character needed he felt like he wanted to leave a legacy. He wanted to leave a legacy. Like people want to leave legacies. And sure. Here's this man who like he's a gay man who never connected with anybody except for these Johns. So he felt like he wants to impart something of himself to leave behind. Right. And he's out of money, so he's lying about that. But he gives them that dressing down in the end, where he feels like he gave them a lesson, and then gives them this sort of. I don't know, legacy, I guess. Again, I was like 26, so I was not really that clever. So, but it was funny though, because the movie, when we started screening it, people thought that was a movie made by a much older gentleman. They thought that like, clearly this person is like, because it comes from this older, sort of old, like, I show up at the screenings and they're like, at the festivals, and they were like, "Are you the assistant of James Merendino?" Which I used to get a lot. I'm like, no, because I'm really skinny too. I was like a 110-pound, like little, and on most of my movies then I'm telling you, every single time, all the way through SLC Punk, people thought that, like, if they didn't know, they thought I was a PA. Like
I can see that.
They were all like saying, like, in fact, I was doing this movie called it's called The Real Thing, but it was called Livers Ain't Cheap. It's an action movie with James Russo. And we were on a set, and I do this thing where I'll tend to like go to stand in a corner and just try to like block it, think in my mind what the rest of the day is going to look like, shooting schedule, so I can meet the schedule. And I have like cranes, and we have like huge like lighting set up because we're on this like this set in Montana, which is a prison, because there's gonna be a prison break, and I was going to do a one shot, so I had to crane up, crane down, then into a shot maker car, so that he's driving away. So I have to light the world, and I'm trying to figure it all out in my head of how that shot's going to work as a one take thing, where the guy's walking to the prison and then escapes, and we shoot it all, and it's really grand, and there's like 300 people up there, or 200 people on that crew. And so I'm just standing there in some corner, and we had to hire locals. So like, obviously a lot of people didn't know. So I'm standing there. So like, what are you doing right now? Somebody from like across the catering said, what are you doing right now?
Right.
Like, I said, nothing. And they're like, okay, come on. Like, and I'm okay. So, and like, so I need you to set up all those tables all here like this, like there's nobody standing around on this set, like, right. And like, okay. Like, so, and I started like setting up tables, and I'm thinking, so I didn't even realize I'm putting out tables, and I'm taking them apart, and I'm setting up and then my first AD comes up, and he sees me. He's like, James, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm setting up the tables, like, he's like, why are you setting the tables? We got to shoot. And I'm like, because that guy told me. And he's like, I don't understand. Like, he said, this is the director. Like, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's okay. He's like, no, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm like, no. It's okay. Like, I could have said I'm the director of the show. So, right. Yeah, like they just didn't. I was really young. Like, they didn't know. I thought that I was like, no way I was directing that movie. Right. So, and I also have been like not let into screenings too, but by security, because they didn't believe they didn't.
Oh, see, that sucks. That's gotta suck, man. That's gotta be like a little infuriating, but at the same time, like, I know the guy's just doing his job, but at the same time, it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, I was 25, and we were showing Upstairs Neighbors. So I was 25 or 24, 22. Yeah, 25, showing Upstairs Neighbor, which was like my first movie that I'm proud of, and it was the third movie I made. And I was at Sundance Film Festival. No, not Sundance. It was Palm Springs Film Festival, and they just were like, "There's," like I said, "Do you have a ticket?" I'm like, "No, I'm. It's my movie though that's screening." Bullshit. Get out of here.
Wow.
I'm like, no, I'm supposed to introduce it. I have to go in and give he's like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
oh my God.
And I was like, and I was alone because I was late. So I just stood out there, and then a programmer came around going like, because they were waiting for me. Right. And then finally they dragged me in. But I understood though, because I was like 25, dressed like a grunge guy, they didn't, they're used to like directors looking like normal, like adults.
Yeah, a little older, probably a little jaded, shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean,
hey,
my first movie, Witchcraft 4, right? Like, I was barely legal to even be on that set. But awesome. I was driving to the location, and the cops pulled me over, and because thinking I was like a truant, like I was skipping school. Right. He's like, he said, let me see your ID. Are you sure this is not a fake ID? Shouldn't you be in school? I'm like, dude, no, I'm fucking 22 years old, man. I'm on my way to a movie set. I'm directing. Oh, sure you are. Like that. Like, no, I'm directing my first movie. Yeah.
Oh man. There's so many things you can lie about, though. That's like something so oddly specific.
I'm to direct a movie. Yeah. I'm late for my job as a director. Yeah. I don't know. Dude. But I mean, like, Yeah, I started young, but I started young though, like directing movies young. I mean, because when you're 22, I think you're still I was still in puberty, late puberty. So like,
Right.
it's a weird time to be on a set where like the actress, she wouldn't put her top back on. Like, I'm like, like even grips were saying to me, like, can you have her put her top on?
Right.
You know, I'm like, she's proud of her body. I don't know what. Julie Strain. I mean, she was famous for that. So like, I don't know, like it was because it was a TNA movie, and
Right.
I'm very uncomfortable with TNA. So like you'll notice I don't do that in one of my normal movies, like
No,
show.
this is true.
Yeah, just because
Just,
I just feel uncomfortable. Like I just feels awkward. Like I feel like I'm exploiting people or I'm doing something. I'm not really like I don't know. Like I don't find. I mean, I find movies about sex interesting, I guess, but I don't find I'm not inspired to make movies that are sexually themed.
Right.
So then just to add it, this would be exploitive.
Understandable. Makes sense.
Like, because then I just have to add it for like, I don't know, for some reason to sell or something like that. Like it would feel weird.
Right.
I mean, like, because Cronenberg will make those like psychosexual movies, but like they're about that. Well,
Right.
my head's not there. I don't think in that way. Though I enjoy the Cronenberg movies that he makes, I enjoy those movies. But
have you seen the movie that came out not too long ago called The Substance?
yeah,
Oh, that's like when you were saying it was in my mind. The very obviously Demi Moore naked. I don't know the other woman's name, and naked. A lot of like sexuality in there. But towards the end of the movie, you're just like, put your fucking clothes on. Put your fucking clothes on.
Yeah.
I get the point now. Like it takes that whole sexualness out of it.
Yeah, she went hard.
It was a good movie, man. Surprised she didn't win.
I think she was. I mean, like I thought the other girl was good too, but I think that maybe Demi should have got that award for that.
Yeah, and it's kind of the whole premise of the movie. You know what I mean? Like she gets overlooked and she's the older. Like it's
the new young actress got the award. I know exactly the new young pretty actress. Even though like Demi, man, she seemed like she was working for it. Like I feel like she, like where the other girl was being just she was good, but like I think this Demi was like going like, listen, I'm going to show you something.
That's a whole different side of her I haven't seen. In that aspect, fuck the nudity, but just the whole aspect of acting like it was a whole that was out of her I guess
out of her wheelhouse. She went hard. She was like showing her chops.
Absolutely.
And she deserved. I think she deserved an Academy Award. If I had voted, I would have voted for her.
Nice. I wanted to touch on SLC a little bit. I have a comment from somebody. I told I would relate to you. I know you're in the process of doing like the mittens, doing Eddie's jacket, things like that.
Oh, we did that. That's done. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody told me, a female told me they need, the word was they need the replicas of the jewelry that like Sandy and Trish wore.
Oh, well, that's good to know because my wife is working on stuff like that.
Okay, that's great.
Just my wife, like she was French. She ran these like wedding dress and wedding ring or engagement ring type magazines for like she's editor, and then she's now on social media doing that. So she's very in the jewelry world. So that's a good idea. Replicate
in
some
specific. They said the green necklace from 2 that I believe that Trish was wearing in the second, from the sequel. That was one that came up. So I made a promise I would pass that along to you because I know that
noted, and I'll make sure that she knows that people would like to see some of that stuff.
Absolutely,
because that's what she knows all the jewelry people. That's because we put out those rings that just recently. So I'll definitely let her know.
Very cool.
But because now what we're starting to gear up for is a documentary. About the evolution of a cult movie. Okay. Like, from the point of view of someone who made one. I mean, like, because I was thinking, like, there's just not that. I mean, like, it's a fact. There are not that many people that have made cult movies, like in the world. Like, there's like maybe 100, 200. I don't know. There's not that many people. So like, if I'm even being fair, like how many? Probably not that many. So like, I thought it'd be
only two I can think of off the top of my head would be SLC Punk and Kids for that, right. For that. I don't want to say niche, but for that market, I mean, there's also Greg Araki does them. So I mean, like, there's a few and Alex Cox, I think maybe, but I mean, so I just thought it'd be interesting to do a documentary about like the nature of making a cult movie, because you don't know it's gonna be a cult movie until it is. Right, and then, but like mostly, but what the fans are thinking, like what 25 years later, and there's like. There are Zoomers making SLC Punk TikTok edits, right, like as if it was a brand new movie, right. Like, and it's like, and they're holding that movie up to the standard or the current mindset of today, which I'm like, I don't even know how that's holding up, because like that's very much mired in the 90s, like so. But they like it just keeps going, and so I thought it'd be interesting to find out. Why some people like it, why some people absolutely hate it, why some people, what brought them to it, people who never heard of it. Like, I just want to like, I mean, because it's like, it's a niche. Not everybody knows the movie. It's a niche. That's all cult movies are like that. Not everyone knows the movie. That's the point of a cult movie. It's like, it's got a following, but the people who do know it, that like it, really like it. Absolutely.
And then there's a whole, because it's punk, there's people who really hate it, because like, and there's people who've gone back and forth, like started liking it, then they hated it, then they realized, no, I like it actually. Like, it's funny, like it goes in waves. So I did want to do a documentary about that. We want to do a documentary about that, which I think I'll have her mostly direct, and I would be like the co-director, more of a producer, because I'm a little too close to it. Like, let her ask those questions. Okay. Like, oh yeah. I don't want to like bias it, because I will only look for the good stuff, because I hate criticism. And it wouldn't be a compelling documentary if you didn't see like the other side of that argument, like why it's offensive and why the sequel sucks or whatever, like why people don't like the sequel. Like, what I mean? Like, all that stuff is, I think, relevant.
And people talk about things they hate more than they talk about things they love, like
sometimes. I'm always impressed with somebody who's willing to really love something, and be really vocal about it, because I feel like that people are so jaded. I feel like people are so jaded, like, and I don't think it's like, it's kind of a millennial and it's sort of like not to like anything type. I think it started with our generation X, my generation, where like, you're not supposed to like things. But I think like, I'm always impressed with somebody that like responds to and likes something passionately. That's why I like those like Who culture, or those like cosplayers and stuff, that they're really into stuff. Because I'm like, like you're into something, like, because like it's so easy just to be like, that's the worst. That thing sucks. They haven't made a good movie in 10 years. Like, and I don't, although that's all bullshit. I think that it's okay to like things. Yeah. I prefer like, that's why like I don't really, I don't know like if I've ever openly criticized anybody else's movies ever. I don't ever do that. Like, if I don't like a movie, I just steer clear of talking about it. Makes sense. Because like first off, it's so hard to get a movie made, and second, like I don't want to be negative about like to somebody like that, like, because also like I make them too. Somebody's vision. I feel like it's stronger to be a person who is willing to like stuff. I'm not saying you have to like everything. I'm just saying like I like it when people amplify the things they do like, as opposed to talk about the things they hate.
So you would have been a person that bought an "I love Elvis" pin, as opposed to the "I hate Elvis" pins.
Well, I probably wouldn't have bought the pin. No, but said anything about Elvis. Instead, I would have said, "I love the Rolling Stones," or something. I just feel like, why just, I don't know. I just feel like it's just a waste of time talking about things you hate all the time. True. Though there's money in negative mindset. Yeah, I mean, there's money in it though for some people, but like I notice on the internet, in social media, that people tend to like get more clicks when they say something they hate. Yes. Yeah, like, because then people like jump in there. Yeah.
either that or if you say the wrong thing like intentionally, people would love to come on and correct you about something as opposed to just go, yeah, sure, yeah, some clickbait, you know, as opposed to just being like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. They come on
That's edgelord stuff.
You know, because any interaction, especially on social media, like it's weird. Even if there be a negative, any interaction is doing nothing but helping your algorithm. It's a weird catch-22.
Yeah, no. If anyone comments at all, then you're. I mean, like, I guess some people you can get monetized on Facebook. So I guess I understand those. But if you're not monetized, I don't know what you're doing it for.
Right.
Unless it's your business. I don't know. Social media is weird.
I know you've been asked this a million times, so I'm not gonna do the repetitive thing and say, where did you get inspiration from SLC Punk to? I've heard you answer that question a million times, but my question on regards to the movie would be, which character is more like you?
In which one? SLC Punk?
In the original. Which character would you say is more has your qualities?
Stevo.
Okay, fuck yeah.
I mean, like, when I wrote the script, I was just putting myself in. I do rants. I rant, right. And Stevo's narration is just a long James rant. Like, right. I mean, like, I'm not saying that. Like, I was not a guy that jumped in and gotten out of fights. You know, like I was, more. Was not that guy, but. But I knew a lot of guys like that because he's an amalgamation of other characters. But like all of his rants are like my youthful rants. Like that's just me riffing. So yeah, Gotcha. My dad is a doctor. His dad is a lawyer. We moved from New Jersey to Salt Lake. He moved from New Jersey to Salt Lake, New York to Salt Lake. I thought that the Mormon temple was Disneyland when I was 7. Like all that. Yeah, that's just me.
Where he is out there in his fictional world, is he a millionaire off of Wall Street yet?
No. I think what he ended up not going to law school. He went to law school, dropped out, and then he was living in LA, and then he went. Then he had. I have a whole script where he ends up saving Bob's kid from a really bad situation by representing him as a lawyer. So he goes back later in life and gets his law degree. So there's a whole period of time where he isn't a lawyer. He's he kind of like he gets disillusioned by the lies of corporate law and Harvard law, and like he doesn't like all that. So he's just sort of lives. I think he sort of comes back to run a record store and like just is a very cynical. And then some shit happens, and he realizes I can actually do something. So like it was kind of like maybe a knee-jerk reaction to people sort of saying like not understanding his point about fighting the system inside the system. So I was going to show like, look, he tried, and then he realized there's all hypocrisy there. Right. Like it doesn't work. But then later on he feels, but they can come in handy, like because like. The end of that movie, he says, "I'm a poser," right? Like,
right.
He'll fight
more than a poser. Yeah.
But I mean, it's sort of like a class comment where his best friend dies.
Right.
And originally, I remember I had a rant that I was going to put in the script. That I had originally in the script, but I cut out. Where at the end, he says he's going to go to Harvard and get a degree and come back and put the people that killed his friend in jail.
Oh shit.
Because, but then it became like, wait, that's the whole movie. That's a whole other movie. That's what they're like the note word. It's true. Like that opens up a whole box of, word because there was a class element to that story where like Bob is poor and he's rich. Yeah. And when Bob, Bob dies and that's why he can say like, this isn't my home because he has the privilege of being able to go wherever he wants. His dad will pay Harvard, like what I mean. Like so he's not locked in anywhere. So and then they go to this rich person's party and they killed him. Like they killed him. Like you can't give somebody an illegal drug you can't say somebody gets a vitamin and it's Percocet.
Yeah,
that's illegal. That's attempted murder. Yep. I mean, at the very least, it's like assault. It's like roofing somebody.
Absolutely.
And if you die from it, that's at least manslaughter. You know what I mean? Like, so And
True.
of course they're rich, so no one was going to get in trouble for that.
Right.
So then I thought, okay, well, that's why I was saying Stevo was going to go to Harvard to try to get a degree so he could then come and, like actually do something about it. Because even his dad wasn't going to like take on the richest people in Salt Lake. So then he was going to do that. So that was some fantasy I had, but like they're saying like that requires a sequel. This is a little art movie. And so I left it out and I just said like he was going to go. So I don't know. I don't know. Like I was a young guy writing a script and I had all these aspirations that like, maybe I'll just keep going with this. So
I always loved Mike. I always thought Mike was the fucking man.
Yeah, I like Mike too. He's based on a guy I knew who was a Samoan guy, but like, yeah, like,
shit.
It's funny. Like at one point, I think Vin Diesel wanted to play the part.
Oh wow!
But then like for some reason I said no, or it didn't work out, or he was busy. But like it was before he had just done Saving Private Ryan. He hadn't blown up yet. Or but he was a really compelling guy. He put himself on tape, but I had already said yes to, because originally I said Balthazar Getty. I offered him the part, and he was ready to do it, but then he had some personal problems. So then I said like they said, how about this kid Jason Segel? I'm like, okay, yes, I liked him a lot, so I put him in the role, and then they said you need to see this tape of Vin Diesel. This guy's coming up fast, and he really just asked you to please review it. So I absolutely did. And I was like, God, he's really good too. And he looks more like the guy I was basing it on, like the Samoan guy. Right. So, and I thought it would have been fun to have that. But in the end though, Jason was already coming in and we were too close to shooting. But that character is to me the most honestly Punk character in the story because he doesn't register what it even is. It's just, what I mean? Like he just likes the aggression. He likes the music. He's concerned about stuff, but aggressively concerned about stuff like the environment. He's going to go fucking do something. Like he's mad, but he's like a normal guy though. Like he doesn't want to outwardly express. That's not, it's not important to him. Like that doesn't mean anything. He's, so he's just as like anybody else, or he's just like a normal preppy kid because that's how he grew up. But
his goal is mindset.
Yeah, but he's also fiercely defensive of people, very strong, very scary guy, the real guy, the guy that I based it on. So I thought that that's I like that character a lot.
He's shit, man.
Mike is a good character. And in the script that I wrote that had Stevo, Mike is in Africa building schools for just building schools in some really remote part of Africa, and he gets kidnapped along with some British people by a warlord.
Oh shit!
And then he as he's being threatened by the warlord takes off his jacket and has a Ramones shirt.
Oh,
and
nice.
Mike's like, Ramones, and they totally connect on the Punk thing, right? Because the guy loves Ramones. And so hours later, they're drunk and best friends.
Oh, that's great.
And he's explaining why this warlord is explaining the struggle against the corruption of imperialists, what they left behind, a state of a mess, and that, it kind of wins him over to this cause a little bit, and then he goes from a warlord to a freedom fighter, so, and it just becomes this irony that the point is because in my experience, traveling the world, you'll find a little Punk community everywhere, and it definitely just breaks right through all kinds of cultural barriers. Just like that. Just as soon as you say oh, punk rock, I'm into punk rock. Ramones, I love the Ramones, and then boom, it's happened to me so many times. In the Philippines, you find you're at a bar and everyone's fucking looking at you, and then you see they're putting on some I don't know, some punk song like The Clash or something, and you're and then you suddenly connect with everybody, and it's it's everywhere. So I just feel it's interesting that exists like that.
It's like a universal vibe.
Cut through a lot of shit, and bridge a lot of gaps. Because yeah. So I don't know. So I thought that so that's what happens with that And that's what happens with Mike.
David Mike was the
And
fucking
then,
man.
and
dude.
then Mark too. Mark was also interesting.
Mark,
Yeah.
he said, more, much more.
Much more, yeah.
That's much more.
Yeah.
He's like, you'll show you, fucking cowboy.
Yeah.
That's do you still talk to Till? You guys keep in touch?
I did. He was gonna do a scene for Punk's Dead. I haven't talked to him in a while, but like a while meaning like 10 years.
Right. Yeah. Understandable.
But I was gonna try to get a hold of him, so maybe this year. We'll see. I might, because I might have him come do a part in Devon Sawa Demon Hunter.
That'd be great.
That'd be funny
cool,
to have
man.
him play Till Schreiber. Like,
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
yeah, yeah.
You talked about Vin Diesel, a role obviously, great pitch, but you went a different direction. Was there any other notable people that tried out for the parts that are like that just ultimately didn't get it, but
Okay,
could have been
our
interchanged?
preface is always with just because somebody auditions doesn't mean they're taking the part,
Right.
right? Like someone can come in and say I'm gonna audition, but then they're gonna come back and say like maybe they're gonna do it, maybe not. That doesn't mean they're doing the part. It's often just a way to see if it fits. Even like when Lillard came in, I don't like he auditioned, but he wasn't necessarily doing the movie.
Right.
He still had to decide if he wanted to do the movie or not. Like didn't even make the offer, then all that stuff. So
Right.
but a lot of people auditioned. So Heath Ledger auditioned for Stevo. Jared Leto, he didn't audition, but talked to him for Bob. Freddie
Shit.
Prinze Jr. auditioned for Stevo.
Wow.
Jamie Kennedy came in for Bob. I think Jack Black came in for Bob. That was hysterical.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's insane.
Christina Ricci for Trish.
Okay.
And then she turned out she was just too young because we connected. She just but she was 17 and they were nervous about doing it. But I never really talked to her. She didn't audition. I just talked to her. My God, almost like so many actors came in, but those are just some. So like that stand out in my head. Yeah.
I mean, you've worked with a lot of like excellent. I mean, obviously I'm preaching to the choir, but you've worked with a lot of excellent actors, man.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. Yeah, and also I found I worked with a lot of actors before they like that was like sometimes people will say like, well, James is a pretty good jumping board, like for
Right.
because like a lot of those actors weren't like Jason Segel had done Campus Man or something like that, and it hadn't come out yet, so he hadn't done anything really. Heather was still starting out, but it was before she was in Boogie Nights. Carrie Ann Moss was in was in that same movie. Before she was just a friend of mine, and then she did Matrix. So like yeah, I mean, I work with a lot of actors before they break.
Absolutely, yeah. It's Michael Imperioli. I'm a huge Sopranos fan, so that. I mean, that's
Yeah, it was
that's
before
crazy.
Sopranos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. That was. Did you ever see him being that big of an actor? Like, not to say, oh, did he have potential or not? But did you think that his trajectory would take off like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like
You see
he's such a good actor. I always thought like this guy's like a Al Pacino type guy. Like
Nice.
only with like he had a character, and he's a good
Right.
guy. But like he was. I mean, I just made a lot of jokes about him being like Spider from Goodfellas, because he was in Goodfellas. He was the guy that Joe Pesci shoots in the foot. Do you remember that?
Oh, Spider?
Yeah,
That was him?
that's Michael.
Damn, yeah, he was. Oh, yeah, damn.
I can see the bones. Yeah, he's
Wow.
like, yeah, go why don't you go fuck yourself, Tommy.
Yeah, he's like, go fuck yourself. And he's like, oh,
I
everyone's like,
can't tell you
shit.
how many times on set I would say to him like, go fuck yourself, Michael. And he's like, what did you say to me?
That is great. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that role.
Yeah,
I
when he fell, he really
forgot it was
did
him.
cut his hand and he needed stitches and stuff. And then he also was in I Shot Randy Warhol and a couple other stuff before that. But like, yeah, I knew he was going to get something good.
what's your dream cast like lineup? If you could pick like 5 people, I don't know if this makes sense or this is how you would do it, but like 3 actors and 2 actresses. If you could design your perfect ensemble, what would it be?
It depends on the movie. I have no idea. Like it depends. It depends on the movie, but like
Okay.
actors all fit. Like certain actors won't fit in certain movies, whatever. I mean, like my favorite actor, I like Tom Hardy a lot. Like
okay, he's great.
I like. I mean, Brad Pitt. But I mean, like, because Brad's, like, we were friends, so like, I would love to work with him. We still like we've talked about working together for a long time.
That's cool.
I'd like to work with him. I like. I think John Turturro is a great actor.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I always felt like he could have been bigger too. He's such a good actor, especially in those older movies. But like, he's still good now. Who are the actresses I like? Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, okay.
Is really solid. I think that girl, I don't know her name, from Anora, is a good actress. I'd like to work with her. But again, like it really would depend on the movie. Because like Devon, think Devon's a great actor, but he's perfect for Devon Sawa Demon Hunter.
Right, yeah, right. Understandable.
Like I don't think that there's anybody better for the role of Devon Sawa than Devon Sawa.
True.
So, you know, like so I mean, again, like so many. I mean, like it depends on like what the movie, but I feel like if an actor is good, I will. If it's the right for the role, I can pull a very good performance out of them.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
So and like I kind of feel like actors. I don't like picking my favorite because I like so many actors. You know, like and
right.
it just depends on like if we both understand the character. I have to understand the character, and they have to understand the character, and then we'll make like a good movie. Like it'll be a good. Oh, yeah. So it just depends on the movie.
Understandable on the concept of it. I can see that though. Yeah, you're grasping straws, but if it's a fucking sci-fi fantasy movie, it's like the fuck.
Well, if I was making the Silmarillion, like, and I wanted to, do you know anything about the do you know anything Lord of the Rings, or no? You're not into that stuff.
My wife has seen it. I'm not the biggest. I familiar with the characters, pretty much the plot, but I've never seen it. I'm one of them people. Like I've never, I'm not into the real big thing. Like I've never seen that Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, Harry Potter. It's weird. It'll lose me for some reason.
I separate those things vehemently, but like Potter and Lord of the Rings. But okay, but like, so what stuff do you watch? What do you like?
I watch a lot of drama, like a lot of gangster films, things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of crime, a lot of biopics. Anything that'll make me laugh. Like I love comedy, totally love comedy. I love psychological thrillers a lot. Like
Jack Black is a guy I'd like to work with.
Jack Black is great. I
would love to work with him. I think he's hysterical. I think and I don't think he gets as much props as he should. But yeah,
you said John Turturro. Have you seen Severance?
Yeah.
Are you all caught up on it?
No, I saw the first season. We rent our streaming for what show we want to watch, and we're not the Severance yet because I don't want to have 50. I lose track. You have 50 streaming services. Like all of a sudden you're like dumping all this money out, and I'm watching, but I watch for a whole month. I just binge a show, and like why do I have all these other things I just paid for? Like it doesn't make sense.
That's true. It's season 2, man. Oh,
yeah, we're waiting for it because then after we're done with whatever we're watching now, we'll probably then rent Apple and watch Severance. Yeah,
nice. I think if you enjoyed season 1, season 2 is going to fuck you up, man. It's crazy. I'm not going to give nothing away, but it's definitely good. He's good in it, man. He's a good actor. He's a hell of an actor.
And then I like that guy Adam Scott, and I know Patricia for years ago. I know Patricia. She's really cool.
Oh, nice.
Patricia Arquette.
Yeah.
And Patty. They call her Patty.
You know a lot of people, man.
I have met a lot of people. Yeah. I have. I used to be friends with I was very close with an actress named Valeria Galino, who is an Italian actress who we shared a house with for a long time. Like not ever romantic, but like just really good friends. And she was a socialite, like a engine. So everyone. So she'd bring them all to the house. And as a result, I met like so many people because of her, like Holly
That's
Hunter. Awesome. I mean, just like all kinds of people, like just a lot of people. And then when after SLC Punk, then I started meeting all these people because Brad Pitt saw SLC Punk and thought it was awesome. And he kept bringing people over to our movie nights. And so then I met a lot of people because of him. So between those two people, I met a lot of people.
You know, man, I'll tell you what, man, you and Brad Pitt working together will be good because I could see him in like a niche role on a movie on something. I mean, obviously, like you said, which is true. You know, you don't know if it's going to turn into like a cult classic or have a cult like following until afterwards. But something like his spot in was it True Romance? Where he was like the stoner on the couch, you know, and he was like, "Hey, what's up, man? He's not here, man." Like, it's just little things like that.
He said, and I mean, I'm going to try to call him out on it because he said, I'm on Devon Sawa Demon Hunter. I'm calling him out on it. He'll probably say no, but like he told me, I don't care when it happens or if it ever happens, but it's one thing to have me carry a movie. I'm going to be really hard to get. It's tough because I'm very worried about that stuff. But if it's a cameo that you want me to do, I'm there. Dude, so I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this on this one because like I want him to play himself.
Right.
Show up
as like a demon hunter. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah, as a demon hunter, to like for like just literally 30 seconds.
Right.
You're like, okay, well, I was never here. And go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like, because I think that's what he's talking about. Because like he thought that he was doing a cameo in Snatch. And they sold the whole movie on him, which is fine. I mean, it's a good movie and I'm sure he's happy about it. But like he told me when he went to do it, he's like, I'm going to do my friend's movie. It's just a cameo. And then that's where he's like, just to let you know, if it's just a little cameo, call me up. I'll come do it. I don't care. Like it's just a little thing. I think you're great. I love you. I love your film or whatever. It'll be fine. Like he's not like it doesn't cost me anything to do that. But like if I got to carry the movie, that can like fuck my whole career up. You know, like if it doesn't fly. You know, like if your movie fails and I'm just a cameo, it's not on me. Like you know, and I would love to work with that. You know, like he was really cool about that. I'm going to call him out on it.
Hell yeah, you should, man.
I'm like definitely calling him out on it. I mean, like you remember when you said that?
Yeah, dude.
This is it, brother.
Right?
Like, you know, like that. Like
Devin's doing something like, oh, I gotta call in the big guns. He's dealt with this before. Boom! Brad Pitt kicks in the fucking door, and he's like, "Gotta do this." Like
that's exactly the scene. That's exactly what happens. He shows up and saves the day and says, "I was never here," and leaves.
That's it.
Like I said, like, I need you for half a day, man. Half a day. I got no money, but I need you for half.
Even one of those like no one will ever believe you. You know what I mean? Like you can tell them, but they won't believe you.
That's the line. He says like I said like, but I mean we have it on film. He says like like anyone's gonna believe that. Like, they call it deep fake, man. Like so like, you know like. So like that's it's so funny that you predict that's the scene. That's the scene that he does.
That's great, dude. That is awesome. I can picture that exactly in my head, dude. That's
I mean, it's an absurd ask, but it's the one I'm gonna ask him to do it. He'll probably say no because he'll probably like, well, James, come on, I'm really busy. But like, I don't care. I'm gonna try. Right. I mean, like he should see because they just sent me a cast list because it was John Travolta was one of the person that we're gonna have to do that. Because,
wow.
Because we haven't asked him, but like because Devon's done a couple of movies with John Travolta, but I'm like, why not just ask Brad? Like, I mean, like it's either going to be crazy, a crazy bit moment, and either they're going to do it or they're not. You know, so like I'll ask everyone, like you know, but I might as well start with the guy that said he would do it. Bro. Like he didn't care. I don't care what it is.
Man, I you know, I'm just spitballing in my own head here. I know you probably like. Who cares? But like, man, even if, you know, obviously it ties into Hollywood, everything, you have a 30-second interchangeable Keanu Reeves. And he's like, oh, you know, Constantine, like, you know, what do you think? Constantine, was this a movie? Like, you know what I mean? I can see, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I'll go to all of those guys. I mean, like I've never met Keanu, but like, I do have him. I have him written into the script as like, we're all on the subway. Devon's on the subway. We look up, camera pans over. Keanu's on the subway. They look at each other and just kind of nod, and it's done. Like because everyone knows that Keanu's on our subways, but like this knowing look between them, you know. I don't know. Again, like it's maybe asking for way too much, but I don't know. Like sometimes if somebody's around, like why not? Like fuck it. Like
Right.
especially like if I could say, well, Brad's gonna do a 30-second cameo.
Oh yeah, it gets that ball rolling, right?
Yeah, like I could maybe we'll see. In the end, it's okay. It's not like I get Kiefer Sutherland or something like that. Like it's still funny.
Right.
And,
Right.
and he's a good guy.
Still,
Or
I
Hayden
mean,
Christensen, or there's lots of people like Josh Jackson. Josh has wanted to work with me for years.
Josh. Oh man, isn't that Pacey from Dawson's Creek? Oh, dude. Yeah, Joshua Jackson would be great at that, dude.
Yeah,
He'd be somebody nobody would see coming.
He's a really smart guy, and we've talked like very much about working together many times. So I just asked Joshua Jackson.
I'm very excited for that project. I'm going to be honest. That project sounds awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I think it'll be cool. I think it'll be cool.
I'm
And
very
I
excited for
haven't
that.
openly said anything about it, but like after talking to Devon like the other day, we were talking about like let's just start talking about it
Right.
because like I feel like somebody might be trying to steal the idea, so we're getting it out there that we're doing it. Because I heard some rumors that somebody's trying to do something very similar, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah, that's great. I had seen online you had said that. That's why I was like, I didn't know if you could disclose anything. I'm not the guy to be like, tell me. But that's
We were doing this since 2022. There's no way.
Right.
There's this other project that's called almost the same thing, only
Oh,
with a
wow.
different actor. And I'm like, what? No way. And that Devin, we were like, it could be a coincidence, but my God, that's a major coincidence.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not that I don't think the other thing is a mockumentary. So like these meta things happen. It's okay. But like the title is what freaked me out because it's blah, blah, the almost exactly the same actor's
Right.
name. And they do something like they hunt something supernatural. So
Right.
like, it's like, what? That's just like, how the fuck did we get the same exact title?
Okay.
Like, except like you just replaced the name of the actor and one word.
Right.
You replace demon with another word. Like,
That's
how do you like, like, and it's blah, blah hunter,
Right.
how do you, I'm like, and they just announced it like a month ago. And I'm like, how did we pitch this everywhere
Right.
as a TV show in 2022, 3 years later, same places we pitched to are, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
oh, it's an Amazon show, by the way.
Get
So
the fuck out of
fuck
here.
those guys.
I fucking hate those.
But it's in development. So like,
Fucking
with
hate
development
Amazon.
things, 90% of the shit doesn't go.
Right.
Like 95% of the shit doesn't go. But like it still pisses me off. And it's a TV series. So which made Devin and I go like, so wait a minute. That the Amazon picked that up with a lesser known actor, but like Devin, clearly this thing could have gone as a TV show. So it just whatever. Anyway, we're making the movie.
Hell yeah.
We're very, very motivated to make the movie.
Fuck yeah. You going to do
Yeah.
anything like I had seen, I mean, this is, obviously years ago. I had seen when SLC Punk 2 was first launched and the campaign was going on, you had things on there. I was so interested to do this. At the time I wasn't in a position to do this, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in the big scene, in the big music hall scene, you got the concert going on, and I believe it was like $2,000 to come out and like be like an extra in that scene and have like a second of screen time or something like that.
Yeah,
I wanted to do that so bad. You have no idea.
Really?
Oh, dude, I would have. I mean, if I had the monetary value to even my livelihood, then I would have done it. But it's one thing I distinctly remember in life, and I was like, fuck, I wish I could have done that so bad. Like,
Well,
It's,
we're definitely doing that because we need to interview people for the documentary, but I don't even think it's a perk because as a perk, I don't think we would charge 2,000 because we're going to like interview people for the documentary.
Right.
So I don't know.
I have one question I ask everybody that comes on. I would love to get your feedback on this.
Yeah.
Kind of like the one question that just goes from every episode. James, in any way, shape, or form, how would you describe success?
Just if you're happy, that's to me a success. Just if you're happy,
Good answer.
nothing else matters. I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, and whatever that, and then because like anything from there goes into like whatever makes you happy is, like If you manage to get that, you're successful.
There you
So,
go.
you know what I mean? Like if you're miserable, then you're not successful, you know, like, so, yeah. So I like, yeah, just whatever makes you happy. Like, I think
yeah.
that, I think if you've achieved any kind of place where you feel content in your life, you are successful.
I like that.
And the rest is bullshit.
There, yeah, isn't it though?
Yeah.
Well, my friend, I appreciate you've been more than generous with your time today, man. I greatly appreciate it. Been looking forward to this. It lived up to all my expectations, man. I hope you had fun as well.
I did.
Great talk, man. And my friend, you have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye.